Have you ever felt like the history we learn in school is incomplete? That the story of humanity doesn't start with pyramids or stone tablets? Well, what if I told you the real story began long before history was even written? We're not talking about 12,000 years ago. That's just a blink of an eye. We're going back 120,000 years to a time when something extraordinary walked this earth. Imagine a civilization so advanced, so powerful, that the gods we read about in myths might just be the fading memories of their existence. And then, in a single, catastrophic moment, they vanished, not slowly decayed, not conquered by a rival empire, but completely and utterly erased from the face of the planet. Across continents, from Africa to South America, from the deserts of Egypt to the frozen poles, ancient carvings and texts whisper the same impossible tale, that our history is far older and far stranger than we dare to believe. The same symbols appear everywhere. Spirals, eyes, suns, and serpents, etched into stone by cultures that supposedly never met. Different languages, yet the same story of a golden age that ended overnight. Our ancestors spoke of beings who descended from the sky, of flying ships made of light, and of magnificent cities that glowed in the darkness. Science dismisses these as myths. But what are myths, if not memories wearing masks? Picture a world-spanning civilization, with cities perfectly aligned to the stars, harnessing power drawn from the earth itself, a world where humans coexisted with something else. And then, one day, the sky itself turned to fire. From Sumerian tablets to Mayan codices, every ancient record points to the same cataclysmic event, a war that split the heavens, followed by a flood that swallowed the world. Is this just a story? Archaeologists have found scorched ruins and radioactive soil in places modern weapons have never touched. Entire deserts of glass, where sand was fused into crystal by a heat far beyond anything nature could produce. What could have caused that thousands of years ago? Some say it was a massive lightning strike, but others whisper of ancient, forgotten technology. Maybe the wars of the gods weren't between gods at all, but between two unimaginably advanced civilizations. The few who survived went into hiding, seeking refuge in mountains, caves, and on islands at the very edge of the map. They rebuilt what they could from memory, and over generations, hard truth softened into legend. Atlantis, Lemuria, different names for the same ghost of a lost world. But the final witness to this catastrophe is the ocean itself. Beneath its restless waves lies the oldest secret of all. In the deepest place on Earth, the Mariana Trench, something is still happening. Scientists have discovered that each year, more than 3 billion tons of seawater simply vanish into its depths. No one knows where it goes. At 11,000 meters down, sonar goes blind. Every probe we send either malfunctions or is never heard from again. Ancient myths from around the world spoke of a vortex in the sea, a place they called where all waters return. For centuries, we called it a legend. But what if it wasn't? What if the ocean still remembers what erased the first world? In 2018, explorers recorded something impossible. Water flowing into the trench, not out, as if the earth itself were bleeding. The moment they sent a deep-sea drone to investigate, the live feed went black. 10 minutes later, a single, garbled frame came through. It showed a flash of light and a metallic silhouette. It was angular, artificial. Then, nothing. The data was immediately sealed, the footage classified, but the few who saw it said it didn't look like any rock formation. It looked like architecture. If that's true, then the ocean isn't empty. It's a living memory, waiting. The only question is, waiting for what? Is it possible we've been searching in all the wrong places? We look for lost civilizations under the sea, but what if the answer has been hanging above our heads all along? Look at the night sky. See the 3 stars of Orion's belt. Now, look at a map. The pyramids of Giza in Egypt, the temples of Angkor Wat in Cambodia, the ruins of Teotihuacan in Mexico. 3 sacred sites, built thousands of miles apart by cultures that supposedly never met. Yet, They all mirror those 3 stars. A coincidence? Or is it a celestial blueprint? A message left behind by those who came before? Every continent is home to impossible architecture. We see stones so massive and perfectly cut, they fit together without a single drop of mortar. We find monuments aligned with stars that haven't been in our sky for millennia. The builders of these wonders knew something we've forgotten. They weren't just architects of stone. They were engineers of time itself. When researchers compared Giza Teotihuacan and Angkor Wat, they discovered something astonishing. It wasn't just the matching angles. It was a matching purpose. Each site was a celestial observatory, designed to measure the heavens. Each site, in its own way, warned of great cycles, and according to their calendars, every 12,000 years, the cycle resets. Fire, flood, silence, and then a restart. Science dismisses this as a string of coincidences. Ancient texts call it divine judgment. But what if it's neither? What if it's simply the natural heartbeat of Civilization A? Rhythm of rising, falling, and rising again. Across the globe, from caves to cliffs, we find ancient carvings of strange beings. They have elongated heads, enormous eyes, and wear suits that seem to glow. They hold objects, rods, spheres, discs of light. To our primitive ancestors, they must have seemed like gods. To us, they look eerily familiar. Not divine, not demonic, just advanced and technological. The Sumerians called them the Anunnaki, those who from heaven to earth came. The Mayans called them the Sky Teachers. The Egyptians knew them as the Shining Ones. Different names, but the same story of visitors from the stars. What if they didn't create us, but simply restarted us, gave us a push after the last great reset? And what if they're still out there, watching? Beneath the sands of the Gobi Desert, satellites have detected massive geometric shapes buried deep below. Perfect circles, hexagons, and intricate patterns, all aligned with magnetic north. They're too precise to be natural erosion, and far too ancient for any modern construction. Some speculate they were energy stations, used to stabilize the planet after the last cataclysm. Others believe they were landing platforms. Meanwhile, in South America, archaeologists unearthed crystal artifacts with microscopic circuitry patterns etched into them. These patterns are on a scale that even our modern lasers struggle to reproduce, and carbon dating places them at over 10,000 years old. It sounds impossible. And yet, there they are. What if these are the last remnants of a civilization that understood both science and spirit? A people who could manipulate Earth's resonant frequencies, bend the laws of gravity, and communicate through pure energy. When their world collapsed, a handful of survivors became our distant ancestors. Their incredible history faded into myth. Their advanced technology was remembered as magic. And now, here we are. We're building satellites, splitting atoms, drilling deeper into the earth, and reaching for the stars. We are walking the very same road they did, and perhaps with the same arrogance, the same blindness. Every ancient prophecy, from every culture, warned of this cycle. The rise, the fall, the silence, and the rebirth. Every myth, every scripture, every ruin whispers the same haunting message: it happened before, and it will happen again. Civilization isn't a straight line of progress. It's a pulse, a cosmic rhythm that resets every time humanity reaches too far, too fast. Maybe the Great Flood wasn't about water. Maybe it was a cleansing of memory, a reset switch built into the very fabric of our planet. And when that switch is flipped again, the survivors will crawl from the rubble, look up at the stars, and wonder, who built the world before them? We will become their gods, their myths, their lost civilization. The next time you look at the night sky, remember, you might not be looking forward into the future. You might be staring into a reflection of what we once were. The lost civilization never truly disappeared. It became us. We are its echo, its memory, its unfinished dream. And one day, we too may fade into legend, just another story told by the world that comes after. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If you found this fascinating, please hit that like button. subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next exploration into the unknown. Stay curious. Stay curious.